Star Wars. I love Star Wars. You love Star Wars, right, ML?
Uh, I've seen like a couple movies here and there, like the first three,
You
like
mean the original trilogy?
the new ones,
Oh, the new
the
ones.
new ones. Yeah.
Um, like, have you seen like the full new trilogy?
I've seen some of them.
Like,
Like,
have you seen The
like
Force Awakens?
is that the recent one?
No, that's the one
Or
that came out in 2015. The one that like everyone
oh,
shat themselves over.
that's the first one, right? Or
That
is
was
the
that was the one that came out in 2015.
okay?
Did
Oh
you
yeah, I
see
saw
that
that
one?
one.
That's the first.
Hmm.
That's the one where Han Solo dies.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw that one.
Okay, did you see Last Jedi?
No,
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay.
no, but I remember seeing Han Solo though.
Hmm.
'Cause I remember I saw
Oh
the
yeah,
reviews. I
Solo.
saw Han Solo reviews, so I seen that one.
Yeah. Um, that's not a part of the trilogy though. And if you didn't see Last Jedi, I'm assuming you didn't see Rise of Skywalker either. So uh, so upon watching the whole trilogy, I'm not again. A lot of people like to shit on these movies, and that's fine if you dislike them. I like The Force Awakens. I thought Force Awakens was actually really good. Last Jedi, upon seeing it, I actually felt like the only person who liked that movie. But upon like now, I don't think it's a bad movie. It's a good movie, but its placement in the trilogy is a bit strange. And then um Rise of Skywalker is a mess, an enjoyable mess, a fun mess, a mess with like a mess that all that even almost works, but it falls short. Rise of Skywalker. So one very evident thing after watching the whole trilogy is that they didn't have a roadmap. That was never flat out said, but it was very much like very obvious that they didn't have a roadmap. There's not much consistency. As you see with like the prequel trilogy. You got that's the most consistent trilogy out of all of them because you have like you show Anakin as a kid to when he becomes Darth Vader. You show the Jedi's being a good like species or whatever, lack of a better term, to them becoming extinct. You see like the rise of the Empire, the fall of the Republic, all that stuff. The original trilogy is kind of consistent, not as consistent though. I mean, you got fucking uh, brother and sister kissing, but so yeah, they you can tell a few things they made up as they went along, but the sequel trilogy was completely messy in terms of consistency. You know, in Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams set certain things up, but then Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson came in to, and he sort of just pushed those away. And then what was supposed to happen was Colin Trevorrow supposed to come in for Rise of Skywalker, which wasn't the name originally. It was Duel of the Fates, and it seemed that he actually, uh, you know, fuck, he seemed to have actually, you know, concluded all those. He found a way around it, but Kathleen Kennedy didn't like that, so she told she told Colin Trevorrow to fuck off, and then brought J.J. Abrams back when he had really no interest in returning, really. So that was a bit of a mess. But then recently, as it turns out, they didn't have a plan at all. It's true, no plan at all. I'll bring up this article. Um, it's This is the hashtag show. Um, So apparently it was, I'm trying to, find it here. Sorry. Um, uh, well, apparently, like, in, like, some show or something, Daisy Ridley pretty much said, like, oh, apparently, Rey was supposed to be a related to, uh, Obi-Wan Kenobi. She was supposed to be a Kenobi. But then, J.J. Abrams was set on having her be nobody. And then, do you care if I spoil it for you, ML?
No, I don't.
Okay, and then it turns out, Rey is a Palpatine. Um, so,
Wait, which
yeah,
movie is this?
uh,
Oh, which Star Wars?
The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I kind of just spoiled some stuff that happened in there.
Uh,
Um, so it's sort of just like you gotta, if you're gonna have like a trilogy like this, you gotta have a roadmap. You know, it's clear that certain characters you don't know, like you didn't know what to do with them. Like you see Finn, you know set him up in in the Force Awakens, you know, and you marketed him. John Boyega complained about this. Maybe we can talk about that in a bit. But you marketed him as like sort of the protagonist. And while watching Force Awakens, that wasn't really the case. Still, it was sort of like interested to see what what else they can do with this character, and they did nothing with the character. Poe like actually progressed quite a bit in Last Jedi, and then regressed in uh, Rise of Skywalker. So this trilogy was all over the place, and it's now confirmed that they did not have a fucking plan at all on what to do. So, um, ML, you hear all this. What are your thoughts on you know Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, you know, whoever, Disney, I can't say Lucasfilm really, but Disney, Kathleen Kennedy, whoever, not having much of a plan at all on what the fuck to do for the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
uh, it's kind of, it could be like, worrisome for like the fans because what if they mess them up further, you know, or like they ruin their character more, like with like other game franchises that have done that. So
Yeah, you gotta have a plan. Um,
hmm
it's like it it's just I don't know, man. And it's also another thing is Kathleen Kennedy. I think I don't think don't want to say it's all her fault. She's like the producer, I believe, of all these of this Disney era Star Wars films. Uh, I don't want to say this is all her fault, but plays a big role in these, and I feel she needs to be removed from the role she's at, because everything, we got there's a um fuck the Colin Trevorrow working on episode 9, uh and the Duel of the Fates is what it was going to be called, and that script was leaked out there, and you know it was it seemed to have actually been better than Rise of Skywalker, but Kathleen Kennedy had some creative differences and told him to fuck off. Um, Lord and Miller, when they were supposed to work on Solo, uh, but Kathleen Kennedy didn't like what they were doing, so she told them to fuck off. With with the Obi-Wan series, uh, fuck, I don't even know what's going on with that shit now. But it's just like, come on, you gotta like she's a good film producer, She has like good, she has a good track record if you ignore these Star Wars films completely. And thank God She didn't even fucking touch the Mandalorian. I don't want to imagine how Mandalorian would be like if it was a fucking mess behind the scenes. Like, just go watch the documentary for Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and it's not a shit show. These other films, I like the Disney era Star Wars films. I'll mostly defend them every day, but it does sort of seem like a shit show. So and that's even more so when it turns out they 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 didn't have a plan for this trilogy, which is like the the final trilogy for the Skywalker saga. That's supposed to be important. You need to have a plan for that, and they didn't. We already knew this by the time we saw Rise of Skywalker, but now it's like confirmed. There's no plan at all. So, uh, ooh, anything you want to say about that?
Mm, nah, I have really nothing to add for that.
Yeah, I mean, well, just what's your thoughts on just how it's just a shit show, really? Like how there's no consistency with, and how Kathleen Kennedy just doesn't, just tells everyone to fuck off due to creative differences. Just what are your thoughts on all that?
It's kind of dickish, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't actually tell them to fuck off,
I
but
know, but like,
okay.
who does it?
She should, like, she might as well. So yeah, and I didn't send this in the list. I didn't say this in the list of topics to you, ML. But there's one more thing about the Disney era Star Wars shit that I'd like to say. John Boyega, the actor who played Finn. If you don't know ML, since you seem to have not watched them, Finn was the black character that seemed to
Oh
be.
yeah, that.
Yeah,
I know him.
yeah. John Boyega is the guy who played him, and John Boyega is a really good actor. Um, and yeah, considering how where they went with Finn, John Boyega probably deserved better. I'd like to see what else he's in, but let's not get sidetracked there. But he put out a statement saying like they used they used Finn to advertise this new trilogy. They used him as like the protagonist to show diversity, Star Wars in like the 21st century, despite the fact that the prequels were mostly in the 21st century. But who cares? But it's but and so they shit. Why did I have to say that little comment? Now I forgot what I was saying. They promoted him as like sort of to show diversity. This is from basically what he said, and then they uh, had him. He had a good arc in Force Awakens, but then they really did nothing with him for the rest of the trilogy. You know, uh, they had they had him allude to the fact that he was Force sensitive, with there being no payoff to that. Apparently, that was cut out of the movie, allegedly. That's not hasn't been confirmed, but uh, yeah, it is kind of unfortunate. Then again, he is like he people will know his name now because of Star Wars, so like you know, but yeah, it is kind of unfortunate. Anything you'd like to add there, ML?
Mm, no, not really. Again,
All right. So I think that is it on that.